Coming up now on Animal Outtakes, meet this gentle giant, a little liger, and he's the only one in the state of Florida. Caretakers say he's the unicorn of big cats. We're visiting the C.A.R.E Foundation in Apopka, Florida, where I also make friends with this particular primate. Plus, we get the opportunity to meet a critically endangered baby crocodile. This and much more straight ahead on Animal Outtakes. The C.A.R.E Foundation is a nonprofit that provides a forever home to more than 200 non-releasable animals. This exotic animal rescue and wildlife education facility provides a unique experience in that you can get close and even interact with some of the animals. Let's take a look as we meet quite the cast of characters.
This is literally a 24-hour, 7 days a week. We don't get holidays, we don't get weekends. We live and breathe here in some way, and a lot of our volunteers even have full-time jobs. So this is their day off, is here. And they are fully responsible for everything from the scooping of the poop, to the feeding, to the enrichment, even training of some of the animals. They are the bread and butter of our foundation. They are literally the heart and soul and the way we can keep everything running. And the nice thing is it also allows them to get up and close with the animals, build the relationships, and it gives the animals the extra for what they need too.
Kristen, it's so good to be here with you.
Thank you very much.
In Apopka.
Apopka, you got it correct.
Yeah, and that's what, Midwest Florida, or?
Yeah, it's just a little bit outside of Orlando, where we still have some country and some trees.
And look who you've got behind us.
Yeah, the girls.
The girls.
The girls.
And this is why you're out here, because you can have all these girls.
Yeah, we're agricultural out here, and luckily the neighbors that are around love us, and yeah, we've got almost 10 acres here and animals everywhere.
So how did you get started?
Actually, it was just myself and another person that started with just Florida native wildlife. Nobody was doing any education in schools. And we thought because Florida is so diverse, we have everything from alligators, raccoons, snakes of all kinds, there was nothing going on with that. And so the first animals we obtained were Florida native animals, including a Florida panther. And so we were going out doing education in schools and libraries, and then people found out about the licensing I had and started dumping ex-pets on us, exotics. So, and then it just went from there.
Isn't that amazing to you that people have exotics for pets?
It used to be. It doesn't surprise me now. It does not. And unfortunately, I love social media. I'm on social media. But also there's a flip side to that where people see sometimes cute little monkeys or cute little lemurs and, oh, I want one and all, without investigating how they're really, how they behave and what's really behind that. You might see one or two cute clips, but then what's happening the rest of the time you don't see. And that's how a lot of it goes. People just don't realize what they're getting into. They see these cute animals. And for instance, the big cats, I've had people say, well, I thought if I raised them from babies, they'd never attack. They're a wild animal. Things happen. I mean, you have to be aware of that. And a lot of people just don't want to deal with it as things progress and the animals become what they are sometimes. And so,
also their size.
Yeah, size is
you have to
a big,
take that into consideration too.
Absolutely. Some of the stories I could tell you about some of the animals that have come in and all that. I said I'd never have monkeys. I was dead set, never have monkeys. And now we've got like 9 of them.
Amos is a spider monkey and Rosie is a capuchin. And these two were some of the first monkeys, primates that we had here. And they came from an animal hoarding situation. They came from the same house and the owners had passed away and they needed a temporary home at the time. It became permanent once we saw the condition they were in, mentally how traumatized they were. We decided that they were going to stay here forever.
We felt it was like small children that had a bad experience, and we didn't want them being traded off over and over again, like through the system. So yeah, we wanted to give them a safe home.
Here we go.
Boy, there he is.
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
you can just hand it to him.
Oh, you're so gentle.
And then just give him another one whenever he's done.
All
Good
right.
boy. Yes, I've got your sister.
Okay.
He's
Oh,
like,
you
where is
stinker.
it?
Okay. What do you think? Huh?
He says, I love grapes.
So gentle.
Oh,
was that a thank you?
that was a thank you.
That
Yep.
was a thank you.
A very excited thank you.
Hi.
He says, this is not bad.
Okay, yeah.
And then we got baby Ava here. She's only 4 months old, his baby sister, and he is an excellent big brother. The funny thing about her, I've got a huge bird cage in my room by the bed, and first thing I see every morning, I wake up and roll over, and it's like Cirque du Soleil in the cage.
How many varieties of animals do you have here?
Honestly, I don't know. I think if you count all my licensing, which in Florida you have to have licensing for everything. The big cats are different from the bear. They're both considered a class 1, but they're different categories. Also the crocodile, we have a Nile crocodile, that's a class 1. So I think I have around 30 different licensing at this point, from everything from the skunks and the foxes and little guys all the way up to the big guys.
Now, licensing, you talk so much about it, and so do others who are like you. This is not we fill out an application and we sign and we send a check. There's more to it.
There is. You have to have at least 1,000 hours hands-on experience with whatever species you want to own. I'd like to say that Florida kind of sets the standards, in my opinion, for how the rest of the country can be. To this day, you can walk in to a pet store in Texas and buy a lion or a tiger cub. You can't do that here in Florida. So you need to show that you have experience with that animal, and that's how it should be done. So many people just get these animals, like you said, don't realize how big they're going to get and everything. So yeah, you should have to work around the animals if you want to own one.
We do have quite a large reptile collection. Everything from your bigger pythons and boas, alligators, crocodilian, smaller like your bearded dragons, tegus, iguanas. We do even have a venomous room. Kristen is one of the very few people who holds a venomous license and has helped Fish and Game Commission on a number of situations in the community. Kiwi is a coatimundi, or a coati for short. These guys are South American. They're in the raccoon family. So it's often an animal that a lot of our tour guests don't know what she is. She is a great education piece. Kiwi, though, she's got a shorter tail than most coatimundis would. Unfortunately, she ended up with a severe infection in her tail that she over-cleaned herself, and we had to have a portion of it amputated. But that's no problem for her. Because we are so hands-on with our animals here, being able to keep it wrapped, keep it clean, keep her medicated with some Kiwi Xanax while it healed was no problem. She's very, very good while we were dealing with that. And so now she's got a little nub.
We have two glorious girls, right? Behind us.
Yes.
And what is so amazing, Kristen, is that, and we are abiding by all of the rules and the regulations that not only you set forth, but Florida Wildlife and
Right.
so on. But we're actually getting fairly close to them within reason.
Right.
And they are amazing.
Yeah.
And this is something you can't get from a computer or a book or anything.
Yeah.
So we know that you're a nonprofit and your name is C.A.R.E. What does that stand for?
Creating Animal Respect Education. C.A.R.E. Foundation.
And I'm sure that you have a lot of children as well as adults come through here.
Yes. Yeah. But you know what's even more remarkable? That the kids are enthusiastic. They love the animals and all. But when you get the adults saying, I did not know that about this animal, and you really, it's like turning the tide. They will be teaching their children.
So this is one of the areas that a lot of people are shocked by for a number of reasons. So in here we have 3 house cats, a raccoon, and a bobcat. And they are all one big happy family. And you can see why right now.
As we pulled in,
Let me guess, Tommy Turkey.
we met Tommy Turkey, who was actually not going to let our videographer Michelle pass.
Yep.
I mean, he stood right in front
He's
of the
security.
car. Yeah, and he told her off.
Yeah.
And then we passed, and so I saw some of the monkeys and beautiful birds and so on. But there is one creature that we passed. He is ginormous.
And he's a baby.
And
He's a toddler.
A baby, yes.
He's a toddler, yeah. He's only 4 years old and still growing. So
Tell us about him.
his name is Camara. Camara is a Liliger. And we always joke, everybody says, oh, a liger. And I'm like, no, everybody's got a liger. We've got a liger. He's the only one in Florida. He's 2 parts lion, 1 part tiger. His mom was a liger, his dad was a lion. And they thought originally that the ligers could not reproduce. But here we go. So he came all the way from Illinois to our facility when he was just a baby. And yeah, he's just 4 years old and about 800 pounds now. And yeah, just a gentle giant. That's what I call him, the gentle giant.
But he became that, even as a wild animal, due to you and to how you brought him up.
Right, and it wasn't just me. All the volunteers that were around when he came in actuality, a little secret, he was their Christmas present. So I got him the day I met the other people up in Georgia, picked him up in Georgia the day after Thanksgiving, and brought him back. And there was only a couple volunteers that knew I was doing this, and he was their Christmas present. So all the volunteers were in charge of spending time with him every single day they were out. They were in charge of bottle feeding him, helping train him. When he was old enough to start walking on a leash, he was leash trained, and they all took turns doing that. So it wasn't just me, it was everybody. Lions are very pride animals, and being 2 parts lion, they're very social. He is incredibly social. To this day, he usually goes out on a couple days with the one tiger, Katrina, and then at the end of the day, he comes in, and then all the volunteers come in. He loves to have his mane brushed. He's a bit of a spoiled boy.
He's a divo.
He is such a diva. But yeah, but that was all in how we raised him and all. And we always keep in mind, he is a wild animal. The only time we've ever seen his wildness come out was a few times when we brought in a deer carcass, torso, the large part of the deer. Then he got a little crazy feeding and everything. But that actually has passed. So now there's nothing that we've seen that brings the wildness out of him. But it's his size we have to watch, because he'll be running around bouncing off of people, and he does know the word easy and no and leave it. So he's pretty good about that. No claws, no bite. So, but yeah, that was work of all the volunteers spending time with him.
I know the usual question you would get on something like that is, you know, you've brought him up from the time he was a cub, and who knows, and then one day something snaps. Or could it snap?
It could. Yeah, but that's something that we've all trained the volunteers too. This is what you look for. I'll be honest, there are times coming up that we may not go in the cage with them, because in the wintertime they get more energy. They're literally bouncing off the walls and everything. So there might be times where I look at him and say, you know what, today's not the day to go in with him. He's just bouncing off the walls and he's too crazy, he's too keyed up. But that's something that, you know, accidents do happen. I'm not going to lie about that. We all, if we're going in with them, we can expect, you know, the possibility is there that something really bad can happen. But we always look at the situation before we even walk in.
Children and adults alike, you need to teach them the healthy respect that all of us get when we're around these animals.
Right.
But what do you hope that they take away from their experience here?
There's actually several things. First of all, that wild exotic animals don't really make pets. That's not something you do on the spur of the moment. There's some people that are just able to deal with things, and other people that shouldn't have any business having these type animals. So that's one thing, and that's a part of learning the respect of the animals. Also, we have to start protecting the animals and the environment more. We're in the middle of having a climate change crisis, and a lot of it is slashing and burning of the rainforest. The rainforest provides oxygen, cleans the earth. We're slashing and burning. We're making our own problems, and it's not just a problem for us, it's a problem for the animals. Several of the species are just disappearing left and right. I heard it one time, and I have no idea who said it, but the only species that would benefit the earth by leaving it is humans. That simple.
Yeah, we have a way of, we're good for the animals, but we can destroy at the same time.
We can be good. We need to be better.
For more information on the C.A.R.E. Foundation, you can go to their website, thecarefoundation.org. Coming up after the break on Animal Outtakes, we get up close to a critically endangered crocodile. Hear more about what humans are doing to save this species. That's next.
I need a vacation. Life is exhausting. I want to relax and enjoy some me time. Then Dante's Den is the perfect place for your vacay stay. Spacious air-conditioned dens, plenty of room to exercise and run, and a pool to swim in. Whether it be an overnight stay, short or long-term, Dante's Den is waiting for you. For more information, visit dantesden.org. Ah, my land shark in the water!
You love your dog, but is he hard to handle? Barking, biting, jumping, chewing, hard to walk? Is your dog aggressive? Have you tried everything and nothing worked? I'm Will Thomas. Dogs are my passion. I can help you with your dog. My methods are so unique, I only need one session in your home. To learn more, look at my website, willthomasdogwhisperer.com, or call me at 941-377-0243. I can help you fast.
What's going to happen to me if something happens to you? That's when Dante's Den steps in. You can make plans for your pet's continued lifetime care in the event you can no longer be there for them. Amenities include spacious dens, medical care, area to run free, and a swimming pool. Plus, all the love and cuddling your pet needs 24/7. Call us or visit dantesden.org for more information.
Troy,
Yes.
gator or crocodile?
This is a crocodile, and not just any crocodile. This is a Crocodilius rhombifer, which is the Cuban crocodile from Cuba.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, what's the difference between a croc and a gator?
A lot of differences is, I think crocodiles are cooler. No, I'm just kidding. Well, there's a lot. The snout is a lot more slender. The crocodiles, when we get him to open his mouth, you can see here he's got a lot of teeth, just like an alligator. But when a crocodile closes his mouth, we're going to get him to close it, you can see his bottom teeth and his top teeth.
Yes.
Alligators have an overbite. You can't see the bottom teeth. They fold up inside the mouth. That's the way to do it. Also, if you look at the snout, it's very slender. So we can go like this for the camera so they can see. It's a very slender snout. Alligators have a very round, shovel-looking face. They have a very slender face. But crocodiles are different to wherever they are from all over the world. So Cuban crocodiles are really only found in Cuba. Yes, some have migrated out and shown up in the beaches of Miami in the past. But they are the Cuban crocodile, and they're endangered species, and they're just wonderful to have.
Now,
Wonderful.
can the gators cohabitate with the crocs or no?
Well, in Florida, believe it or not, is the only place in the world that you can find alligators and crocodiles cohabitating together. Now, it's not always a good thing. Depending on the size of the animal, if the alligator's bigger and he doesn't want the croc there, he runs it out. If the crocodile's bigger, vice versa. But they do live, and the only place they do is here, the American crocodile.
Now, which one has to be, let's say they meet and there's, and they're equal size.
Okay.
Which one's going to beat the other one?
It really depends on the animal, but like if you had a really large Cuban crocodile, large alligator, I'd probably put my money on the Cuban croc.
You would?
Yes, these guys are
A little bit more ferocious,
they're
perhaps?
very good hunters. Where they're from, the wild food is limited, so they're very skilled in what they can and can't get. So they're wanting to survive is probably going to be a little bit greater. I think alligators are lazy most of the time.
Well, there's a lot of them.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are. Well, he is absolutely beautiful. Look at the coloring right down to the tail.
Yep, to the yellow.
Just gorgeous. And of course, they look so calm and cute when you're holding them now, but I sure wouldn't want to meet them in the Everglades.
No, and crocodiles in the Everglades, interesting that you say that, are mainly very docile. So there are places you can go see them, like Flamingo, Florida. You can walk down at the boat docks and walk up to the crocodiles and take pictures. You wouldn't want to run into one of these in the wild, because they're just, like I said, the Cuban crocodile is quite a bit more, agile of a hunter, and they're going to want to eat.
When you speak of endangered, and we all know what that means, could we eventually lose these guys?
We could, except there are assurance colonies, especially here in the States. And the crocodiles that are here that are bred, there was a few years ago that a few of my friends and their colleagues took some back and actually re-released the Cuban crocodile back into the wild again. So we're trying to redo that, breed them, turn them back loose in their native environment as pure-blooded Cuban crocs. Because remember, the acutus, which is the American crocodiles, has found its way over there, and they interbreed. And so they kind of interbreed the bloodline there. So we're trying to preserve the purest of the pure with this. Preservation of future species, they're all important to each part of the ecosystem they're in. And sometimes when they hybridize, they become too big, or it damages the way they can breed or not breed, or just kind of ruins it. They were doing it in the wild, but we want to preserve the bloodlines of the true Cuban crocs because they've been around a really long time, you know, and so you just, you know, it happens naturally in the wild in a lot of different places, but we try to, for the most part, keep them as pure as possible.
It's estimated that there are only about 3,000 purebred Cuban crocodiles in the wild. Their main threat is humans. But on a positive note, Cuban crocs are well represented in human care in the United States. It's reported most are part of the species survival plan. Stick around, there's more animal outtakes after the break. For this week's Breaking Barriers segment, we introduce you to Xander. The German Shepherd was recently surrendered to Dante's Den Foundation. Trainers here are working with him in hopes of finding him a permanent home in the near future.
That's a good boy. Up, wait for it, sit, wait for it. That's a good boy. So Xander was brought to us. He's 3.5 years of age. Oops, he's a big boy. So Xander's got an ear infection right now. Fui. Sit. Wait, thank you. So Xander's got an ear infection right now, so we're working on his left ear. He's also blowing his whole coat right now, so we're brushing him constantly every day, trying to get that coat out. He has a long coat. He was the product of a divorce between a mom and a dad. They could no longer take care of him. Fui. Xander, sit. He's dog friendly, but people aggressive, right? So one of the issues we had when we first came in is he was banging on the door. Xander, sit. Xander, sit. Xander, sit. Thank you. Stay. He just needed an alpha male. I walked in, gave him a command to sit. He sat, he looked at me. Stay. Thank you. Told him to lay down, he laid down. So he's actually a pretty good dog. He just needs someone who can be a little more authoritative. Sweet. Xander, sit. Xander, down. Thank you. and he's got a pretty good quick down, as you can tell. Okay. Yep. Very friendly, but he is blowing his coat right now. He's a long coat in Florida. He's about 100 pounds, but he's actually a very friendly, very playful guy. If you can get by that Sasquatch mentality he's got. Right, buddy? Yep. Learning that he needs a single adult. It doesn't have to be male, doesn't have to be female, but it needs to be an alpha. So he needs somebody to follow. And that's what I figured out with him when he was hitting on the door and he was going after some of the other kennel hands, is yelling command, giving him commands right away. He followed them to a T. So at that point I took him out on a leash, and as you can see, he's not aggressive anymore. He doesn't try to bite anybody because he knows that he is, he's good to go. Oh buddy, oh buddy. He's loving, he's caring, he likes to play, he likes to run around. He loves going out here in the back, walking around the lake. So the more active the people are, or the person is, the more fun they'll have with Xander, and the more fun Xander will have. So they can have a nice home to live with. And look, they need a forever home or a forever buddy. Just like the people who adopt dogs, they need a forever buddy also. And Xander will be a forever buddy for somebody.
For more information on Xander, you can contact us at dantesden.org. And we'll be right back. Animal Outtakes is produced by Dante's Den Foundation, a nonprofit group dedicated to creating the best life for dogs. If you would like to learn more about Dante's Den, donate, or volunteer, visit our website, dantesden.org. We hope you had fun and learned a thing or two along the way. We'll be back here again next week with even more animals and some wild adventures. Until then, thanks for watching.